A very warm welcome to all of you. Now I am here again with yet another topic on finances. So today I am going to discuss the common insurance mistakes Indian families usually make. So let me start with a question. In case of your absence, whether your family will have will have the same financial stability. See, when I ask this question to most of my clients or most of the people around me, the first answer I get is I have insured myself and the family. But when I scrutinize or go inside very deep into their insurance plans, I find that they are not adequately insured. So, insuring doesn't mean that we own a lot of insurance policies in hand, bought for many different reasons. But it means, are we insured adequately enough? So it is always the planning that comes first. It's the clarity of how much do we need for the family to still sustain in our absence. So here we and our means like the breadwinners. I'm just assuming that uh, talking about the breadwinners. So this is actually what I'm going to discuss today, that whether all the Indian families are adequately insured, or what are the problems, or what are the things that most of the families don't consider while taking their insurances. And I am going to suggest some tips to avoid all these mistakes while considering your insurance. So instead of just taking a random insurance, the first question that we need to answer is whether our family is truly protected. First thing is to secure in case we are absent or in our absence. This means a true absence, that is, if the breadwinner is no more. Will my family still sustain with the same financial stability? So, this is the question that we need to first answer while talking about the protection of the family. We should not have insurance as a product. We should always see whether our family is secured because we have insurance. We should give we should first be clear on what is the requirement of my family. Then go for the insurances that supports that. So first planning comes and then the products come. Products should not take precedence. So, but normally the problem is insurance policies are not bought based on the requirement of your family. It is mostly brought as a tax saving instruments. So luckily now tax cannot be saved with the purchase of policies. No more insurance policies is considered as a source of income tax savings. This is one thing. And randomly buying policies because of the advice of family members or friends or just uh, pressure from the banks and many other uh, things. So we tend to buy insurances randomly without even considering what is the actual requirement of my family. So the other day I was in the bank for some other purpose, and there was a person who had come for some loan requirements for his business or some other needs of his family. And while the employee of the bank was talking to him about the his actual requirements, she very easily slided in the concept of taking one insurance. And he just, I don't know, the concept of protection just takes precedence over there. And this man, he just accepted, and I just saw him within half an hour. He just bought that insurance apart from the work he came for. But when we buy such insurances, we simply collect insurance products thinking that, yeah, it will protect my family, or later that money will be returned back. Now, there are a lot of money back policies also. So, but what we are not thinking is whether this, whatever money commitment we are making towards the insurance, will my family be secured with that in my absence? So we are not thinking about the protection of the family or what is the actual need of my family before even considering the insurance. We don't even plan for the insurance products. So it's just a random decision that we are making within a fraction of a second because of the advice of the people around us. But what I say here is that this is not the way we protect our family. So why this happens is obviously what I told, the narration of the story. It is sales-driven decisions. So that lady was able to convince him emotionally, and whether that was his need or not at that heart, he just bought that insurance. So we don't plan for our insurance, and we don't have a clarity on why we need insurance. Insurance is for the protection of the family in our absence. So this thing is never in our mind when we are getting uh, lured by our family members or by our friends or the people around us. So this is because we literally don't have the clarity on why we need insurance and whether my family will be protected in my absence. So the first thing is we need to consider what our family needs, and we should then make a plan or a strategy, and then we need to go for the products. Now, let me just give you an idea on what are all the common mistakes that most of us, including me, make while we think about insurance. First thing is first, and yeah, this mistake even I have done. So insurance versus investment. So we just think, okay, we are considering insurance as an investment product. So it is serving two needs. So my investment is going towards my security as well as an investment tool, but that is wrong. Investment and insurance are two different needs. Insurance is for our protection, and investment is for the growth of the wealth. So this needs to be considered separately, and we need to plan accordingly. Then we going in for lower life cover. See why this happens is actually because we don't ever plan what is the requirement of our family. We never understand the requirements, why we need the protection, and what is that we need to consider, and then buying the insurance. So this is the reason why we just blindly take some protection plan which will not give you the proper life coverage that you need. Then employer dependency. Most of us, when I'm talking to most of my clients, they immediately tell me my health insurance is given by my company. Yes, fair enough, well, good. But what happens when you change your job? When there is a gap in your job, you will never have this employer insurance helping you at that time. So what will happen? Whatever investment you have made for your goals, you are bound to touch that. So again, you are creating more confusion towards your finances, the family finances, family protection. Employer insurance is well and good, but then having an personal insurance is like icing on the cake. So that will ensure that you and your family is protected even when you have a break in your job. And next is delaying the health insurance, thinking that when we are young, we are very healthy, we don't require any help from the health perspective. Actually, we are supposed to take a health insurance when we are properly healthy, so that we are getting the proper coverage when we lead into some health insurance. And such that is another way where we are protecting ourselves and our family financial well-being. Next is too many policies. This is something that I've been talking all through this time. That is, we keep buying policies based on random decisions. So what happens is we accumulate policies, but whether this policy is serving our family's needs, we never consider. Then the important thing is we don't review. That is, we keep buying the policies. We don't understand that we have changes in our life. We evolve as we go through. Our jobs changes, our family grows, our goals are changing, and based on this, even our financial conditions also changes, and our security needs also changes, our protection level also changes. So it is better that we review our policies or our insurances at least once per year so that we are on track with our family's protection. Now, when we talk about insurance, we only talk about health and life insurance. That is what happens if we are absent. But what happens when we have some disability? Again, our families is dependent on us, and we are not able to provide for the family. That is the thing that we not consider while we buy the insurance policies. So we also need to consider the when if we become disabled and we are not able to support our family, how will our family sustain? So this also needs to be considered. Which if you are going in for an insurance for really protecting your family. So I again reiterate these are the common mistakes we should avoid so that we plan our insurance properly and that will support our actual needs. So normally when people come to me, I follow this three step. First is protection. So first I just review their life coverage, health coverage, and whether they have the disability coverage in place. I also check if they have sufficient emergency fund so that they don't have to touch their investments when they face some difficulty financially. So once all these things are in place, that is first the protection is in place. That is when I go to the next step of helping them grow their wealth. So I help them by giving them like planning their investment systematically to build a long-term wealth. How this happens is first by understanding what is their income level, what is their expenses, what are their debts, wha- what is their goals, financial goals, I mean to say financial goals, and what are the retirement planning, and all these things gives the input towards the growth and help me understand their needs and give them the right path towards the growth of fund. Next is stabilize. I'm sorry. First is protect, second is stabilize. The stabilization is where I check their cash flow, emergency fund, what are their expenses, what is their income level, what are their goals, whether they are considering about their retirement planning, their children's education, and how do I help them sustain this all through their life and also grow the wealth as according to their future needs. So once I stabilize their cash flow and help them give a better path, then I just help them grow this wealth for long-term investments, long-term goals, and all the other things. So this is how I help my clients understand their financial needs and slowly, step by step, handhold them towards the wealth building activity. So now let me just give you a comparison. So what I tell you is there are two families. Family A, they have a lot of insurance policies, lot of saving schemes, everything in place. So this is they have a very poor protection. But when you consider family B, they have proper protection, proper insurance policies that they have considered buying based on their lifestyle, based on their goals, based on their family needs. They have analyzed their goals and family needs, and then they understood what their requirement is, and they just have the protection plan based on what is their requirement, and they go for the review of these policies, and accordingly they just maintain the policy protection level. So what among this is the true correct method? The second family is more in the protection level, or they have a proper method of family protection than having a lot more policies. So, first question that we need to ask before even considering the insurance policies, if something happens to me tomorrow, would my family be able to live their life the way they are living now? This helps in creating a clarity in their minds rather than confusion and go behind products. So, what are what are the things that you need to do today is just have an hour with your family to understand, sit as a family and understand what is your coverage level, whether you have the right coverage for your actual family financial needs. Check if you have kept a proper nominees, assess your risks, and see if you are protected to accept that risk or protected towards that risk, and align your family's financial goals, and then finally review regularly. And as the family needs evolve, is your protection plan also evolving? This is a very important thing that we need to consider. So now what all through this, the first thing that we need to consider is we shouldn't go behind the products, because because the family's protection is the ultimate need. We shouldn't take a decision by fear. That is, we shouldn't take an insurance by fear. We should go for an insurance based on the family need, or based on the protection they need, because the protection will create when you have a proper protection in place that gives the clarity. You are here to only create a financial peace in the family. So consider building a complete wealth system, with protection being the first step. So these are now, if all through this discussion in this video. If you have felt that there is some gap in your protection, feel free to book a clarity call with me. The link is given in the description. What I do is I will analyze your current insurance plans, identify the gaps, and then help you build a proper protection based on your family needs. So, if if you feel that you need a clarity towards your protection, don't wait for a minute. Click on the link given in the description to book a clarity call with me because family protection or family's financial peace is at most important rather than having a lot of policies and having no clarity about your own family needs. And at the end, if you felt that this video has helped you understand your protection, family's protection level, or able to understand that there is a gap in your analysis, feel free to book a clarity call with me and also subscribe to this channel for much more financial tips like this or financial understanding like this, family in wealth insights like this. And also, if you feel one among your family members or your friends will also be benefited through this discussion, feel free to share this video with them so that people have a better clarity towards their wealth building rather than go by instincts or go by that sudden decisions. Let us build wealth with clarity rather than confusion because that will help you build a sustainable family wealth system. So thank you once again for listening to my talk, and I will again tell you if you felt this will is going to be fruitful or informational to somebody else, feel free to share this with them, and also you yourself subscribe to this channel. So thank you once again for listening to me. Hope this would have given you some clarity on your family's insurance needs, and don't go by some instincts or by talk the advice of the some random people, but consider your family's protection as the first need rather than the products. So feel free to feel free to book the clarity call with me so that I can assist you in getting a better protection plan for your family. So thank you once again for listening and bye for now till we connect with the next video. Bye.